Hey everyone, and welcome to today's tutorial. So as you remember, last week we worked with the So Much Fun collection from Carta, and I packaged up all of our stuff so that we could use it for pocket pages potentially this week, and this is what we're doing today. So we're going to make 4 pocket pages today, and here I'm just pulling out all of our leftover stuff from last week. And as you can see, we have a lot of cardstock, we have a lot of pattern paper, and we have journaling cards. So if anything, compared to normal, we have less journaling cards, but we have more plain paper. So because we have plain paper and because we have cardstock and pattern paper left, I'm going to take these and I'm going to do something different today. And I'm going to make a bunch of these pieces that we can use on our pages. So I actually pulled out the big shot for this and used 2 die cut collect pieces from Lawn Fawn. This first one here is the outside in stitched rectangle stackables. As you can see, the cut line is in the center and there is a stitched line on the outside and inside. So it'll give a stitched look on the piece you're cutting out and also on the piece that you cut it out of. So this makes it really, really pretty, and you can use not only the cut piece but the other piece of your paper as well. And these are stackables, and so there is multiple sizes that come with that. So this piece is called the large stitched rectangle stackables. So as you can see, the cut line is actually on the outside of the paper, and then the inside of the paper that's being cut out has the stitched part. So I like to use these 2 sets together because, as you remember, that one cut line was in the center and this one's on the outside. So even though the templates are the same size, the cut piece will actually be 1/8 of a difference off from each other. So this makes it really great to use together because you can create like a 1/8 inch mat for your different size pieces. So what I'm going to do is, because we have so much cardstock and accent paper to use, I'm just going to kind of make a bunch of pieces and then I'll have them to be able to use on my pages later. If I was running low on paper, or if you do intend to make more pages than just 4, you can be more selective with the amount of paper you want to use up. But for me, I wanted to make sure that I had a bunch of cut pieces in each different color of cardstock and each different accent paper that I have. Now, I do believe in keeping scrapbooking simple, and I don't think that you need to have a big shot. And if you want to create a bunch of pieces like this, I mean, they don't have to have the stitched look on them, and you could easily just use a paper trimmer to cut up the various size pieces. You don't have to use a big shot or any kind of die cutting machine, and you certainly don't need to buy these die cuts. It just makes it easier, faster, and I have my big shot anyways, and I had this set, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it, but you don't need to have it. You could easily make these pieces. I didn't actually measure what the size of what these pieces are, but I can definitely I will put a note of the sizes of these cut pieces of the various sizes on my blog post. So if you are going to cut them out by hand and want to know specifically what they are, I can leave that information there. But I'm not going to put I'm not going to tell you exactly what every piece was. I'm just going to put a general comment about the various size pieces that there are. So as you can see here, when I was cutting out, as you can see here, I kept some of those 4x6 page pieces that just had a piece cut out of them, like this one for an example, because I do want to use this sort of as a frame for either pictures or just as a background in my photo slot. So definitely keep those. And if you don't have a die cut machine and you want to have this kind of look, you could easily do it just like we cut out the 10 by 10 inch squares in our normal cutting guides. You can just cut that out using a regular paper trimmer. So I would like to work on like sort of one piece at a time. And so this is like, and like I said before, if you're a card maker, this is going to be super easy for you. So there, what I did is I took that 3x4 photo area and I matted around it and using some of those cut pieces. And then I just layered a piece of chipboard on top and popped up that little sign that says Snowball Fights, and I kind of clustered around that. And here I'm just kind of moving papers around and trying to figure out what I want to do here. And I'm just going to cut this background piece just to give me a white base for this frame. And then I'm going to adhere it to this 4x6 area. And then I'm going to add a little bit of something to the top. I like this little burr chipboard. And then I directly adhered this bear. So I am a little bit more aware of the thickness that of these little elements here, because it's very possible to make the pockets too tight. So in situations where I probably would normally pop something up, I will directly adhere it to the page rather than popping it up. Because if you do too many things popped up, it gets too tight, and then you start to get like little ripples and bubbles in your page protector, and then it just doesn't have as clean of a look. Okay, so I love this snowflake paper, and I felt like a dark paper there would have been, it wouldn't have been what I wanted. So I went ahead and just cut down that snowflake paper to like a 3x4 size, and then I feel like this element looks good on there, but it needs some layers. So I took this dark piece of cardstock and a smaller piece of that green cardstock, and then I just layered it. And again, I didn't pop anything up here. I just layered all three of them on one on top of the other. Okay, and then the smaller element here, I did pop this up. It's a smaller piece, and it felt like it wouldn't have looked good unless it was popped up. Okay, so we went ahead, so I used 3 different pocket pages today. So I used design D, design A, and design number 5. Okay, so a lot of times it's kind of monotonous to like put everything into the pockets. So when I'm just playing around trying to figure out my layout, I'll just leave everything on the top until I've committed to something, because I hate pulling things in and out. And it just, you seem to sort of stretch or damage like your pockets a little bit too, and then they get like a weird sheen to them. So I try and not like put things in and out of the pockets as much as possible. This 2x3.25 photo size, I really love it on this 3x4 pocket area. I feel like it gives you an opportunity to layer and put some elements with it. And I had this put beside that winter fun list, and then I just didn't like how the two banners looked side by side. The winter fun list and that bundle up little sticker that I put at the top of that photo area ended up being too similar to put side by side, and I didn't really think of that. So actually what I did is I ended up switching out that 3x4 journaling card with the list, and I put this other one that says Ice and Frost and Happy Days. And I felt like there wasn't enough, this page was too flat almost, it didn't have enough layering to it. So I went ahead and added this layer below this Hello Winter 4x6 journaling card. I added that pinkish coral colored piece of cardstock, and then I layered around it with some of these leaves here from the sticker sheet, and I finished it off with some enamel dots, just 3 of them in a straight row, And my intention with that cardstock piece is to put the date on this layout. Okay, so for our second set of layouts here, we're gonna go ahead and just start kind of putting in where I think I want my pictures to go, and just sort of do a rough template, I guess, of what I want to do with this layout. So I started off by just putting in the papers that I think I want to use. And I definitely, as you can see, wanted to use that pink coral kind of color a little bit more than I did on the last layout. So I started putting those pieces down, and I loved the look of this dark snowflake paper on top of that pink cardstock, but I didn't like that the snowflake paper beside it matched it. So I went ahead and switched out the background on that other pocket area that has that 3x5 horizontal photo, and so that they wouldn't necessarily match up side by side. So I wanted to do more layering on this 4x6 piece, so I decided to use this one, but I wanted to offset it because I'm planning to put the chipboard banner here that says snow, and I think it stands out really, really nicely against that pink kind of coral cardstock. And then I just stuck on this snow globe sticker, and I think we're just gonna leave that whole 4x6 area just the way it is. And then I went ahead and took a spare piece of our green cardstock, and I just matted this 3x5 photo area and directly adhered it to this page, and then added on this little sticker that says winter memories. And then I popped up this little tree just to kind of add a little bit more to that area. So I really love this pink cardstock at the top, but I think it looked bad just leaving it plain. So I layered it with this dark blue cardstock, and then I ended up not liking the combination, and I thought there was too much of a pink area that matched that bottom area where the snow banner is. So I went ahead and switched that paper altogether, and then I decided to put a 3x3 photo area here, and I really had a hard time getting it to balance out. It's like it was too tall for that area, but didn't feel enough width in that area. So I decided to try and offset that by layering behind it with some odd sized pieces, and it did do well. I think adding those pieces really helped make it look okay, but I think next time, or when I go to replace that white piece of paper with my actual picture, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 3x3 photo and I'm going to mat it with pink cardstock, that pink coral kind of colored cardstock. So I think adding that little pink 1/8 of an inch mat behind that photo area will really help it pop off of those more base colors as well. And I mean, a pattern paper could work well too, because there is a lot of solid colored cardstock on this element, but I think the pink will work out the best. So I'm probably going to do that when I go ahead and put my actual picture on. I kind of didn't really decide that until I actually started watching it back on camera. So here again, I took that cut piece and I just layered it behind this photo area, and that was good enough. And then I just added on this little sticker that says Wonderland on it. Okay, I do need another 3x4 journaling area, so I went ahead and used this same colored same accent paper that I used on those other 4x6 areas. But then I ended up finding this little piece here with this snowman, and I liked it way better. So what I went ahead and did is I had some spare trees left over on the sticker sheet, and I popped them up and I added them to the scenery of this journaling card. So, I mean, from the front, it doesn't really look like it does much, but it actually, when you see the page in real life, it just gives the page, or just gives this little element a little bit extra pop off the page, and it just, and it's not bold and doesn't take away from the actual 3x4 journaling card at all. It just sort of adds to it. Okay, so I wanted another 3x5 photo size. Works perfect on these 4x6 pocket sizes. It fills it perfectly, and you can add just an element or two, and it fills it nicely. So as you can see, I'm trying to use this this pink colored cardstock again on the next page, and I'm really liking how it framed that darker contrasting blue color. I think those two colors work really, really nicely together. What I went ahead and did here is I just matted this 3x5 photo, but I felt like it was getting a little bit repetitive, just, you know, matting the 3x5 photo area and putting it in the center of the 4x6 area. So what I went ahead and did is offset this one a little bit more to accommodate a little bit bigger of an element on the side of it. And so I offset it sort of off the 4x6 area, and then I just cut it off. So I could fit this tag on here along with this chipboard piece. So here I'm just layering on some of these smaller cut pieces and creating some cluster areas to finish off some of those plainer pink colored 3x4 pockets. And I wanted to use that winter fun list on this layout because I didn't use it on the last layout, and it's sort of all the same theme for the pictures that I'm trying to use, so it worked on both pages anyways. So what I went ahead and did is applied it to that vertical 4x6 area and layered some pink cardstock behind that 3x4 journaling element. And then here again, this area, I popped up this frost sticker and layered it in front of a couple more cut pieces. So now that once I sat back and looked at the page, I felt like there was a lot of plain cardstock, more so compared to the other side of the page, or the other side of this layout, sorry. So what I went ahead and did is just finished it off with some of these enamel dots and tried to fill up some of that plainer area. Thank you guys so much for watching this week's tutorial, and we will see you next Friday with a new video. We're gonna get transitioned into some Christmas layouts now that it's December. We'll dive right into Christmas, and so we will see you guys next Friday, and have a great weekend.